up? What up? We are back with the Maniaco podcast, and I got my friend and my fellow supplement reviewer, David Fredrickson here. Blessed to have you here, brother.
Yeah, what's up? The Garage Gym Brothers, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I was excited about this. I'm all wired, man. I was flying home to get here.
Oh yeah, I didn't want you to rush, man. Yeah, no, I'm glad you're here, man. And we've done we've done some Q&As before live and stuff. This is the official podcast now though. And I've always really liked teaming up with you because of I like you, plus all the insane amount of information you have stored in that head of yours. And so I just think it's a good opportunity. We got a lot of questions. I have my own questions. Shelby has his questions, and then some of the viewers were kind enough also. So if anybody has not yet subscribed to David Fredrickson's channel, it's Mission to Muscle, and I'm going to link it below so everybody can subscribe. Hit the dang like button on his videos, and you'll see supplement reviews on a whole nother level. And, I personally have hit David up many times about my own questions for supplements and stuff. I always trust his intel, and he's guided me on ingredients that go together, my own personal formulas that I've looked into making and stuff like that. David's always the number one person I'd run anything by. So mad respect for David.
Right back at you, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So tell what's going on with your channel, man. What's been new?
Just basically diving more into. So I'm not a big entertainment guy, so I'm trying to make the videos a little more entertaining. As far as by adding clips and videos and stuff like that.
Well, I've seen the editing, man. That must take a minute.
Oh, it takes all freaking day.
Yeah.
Angles.
Oh yeah, it's all day putting that thing together.
Yeah, it doesn't go unnoticed.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of work into it.
So you're just sticking pretty much with the same kind of just whatever supplements come your way, and
yeah, and then I've got my own. So I mean, you know me, you always say you don't want to be a mad scientist. I'm a mad scientist. So I've got I should take a picture of all the supplements I've got and send them your way, and you'd be like, damn, I've got all ingredients pretty much, and I'm always messing with the dosages, feelings, how to make my brain work a different way, and dopamine hits different and stuff like that. So I have fun doing it.
When I say mad scientist, a lot of my viewers, and I'm sure we share a lot of the same viewers, are they're real hardcore stim people. So I mean it more in the negative context of I'm going to take a pre-workout and add a ton of stimulants on top of it that really don't belong there. People, everyone's like, I got to add DMHA to this pre and add alpha yoda. It's like, dude, it wasn't made with alpha or DMHA.
Right.
I mean it kind of more in the let's not abuse these products sense, when I say mad scientist, but yeah, you kind of formulate your whole thing from the ground up, right?
Yeah, and then, to answer your question, so I'm reviewing things that are sent to me. I still have a bunch of stuff I got to review, but I am also reviewing stuff that I'm taking myself for my own purposes, as far as being 55, trying to keep the energy going and all that stuff. So yeah, and when something works, and I'll throw a review on it, and I'll try to break it down for people.
Do you have plenty of stuff to review, or do you feel like you need to dig for? Do you reach out and hit people up, or do you kind of feel overwhelmed, or where are you at with that?
No, not overwhelmed. I mean, I'm not doing reviews like you, every single day. Twice a week, I have supplements. People keep sending me stuff, and then with me purchasing my own stuff, so far it's been working for me.
Yeah.
If there was more, like, you probably we're kind of the same. Like, if I commit to something, I'm committed. So if I got more and more supplements, I might start getting a little more anxious because of that commitment that's ingrained in my head.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep a real small circle because it's just, like random fly by night companies will hit me up and want to send me a pre or whatever. And it's just kind of over. It's like, I can only say so much about another pre and another pre.
Right.
I'm trying to, I wouldn't mind doing a few days a week. That's why I'm doing like the podcast and kind of trying to make other kinds of content,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you're also a diabetic, and you make a lot of content geared toward that, I think.
Yeah, on Instagram,
On
I'll do some
Instagram.
posts. Yeah, do some posts.
Yeah.
Haven't dove into it for YouTube yet because I'm still trying to build a base,
Mm-hmm.
and then coming up with the ideas to interest people that aren't type 1 diabetics.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Even with the reviews I'm doing, because I'm like you, it's like you can only say so much about a pre-workout. I'm actually diving into the ingredients and then trying to give somebody or individuals more information on an ingredient each and every review, rather than trying to throw like a ton of information on a certain ingredient. And then so somebody's, when they come to my channel and they watch the videos, I'm hoping that they're always going to get something new about agmatine or citrulline or something. So
I got a question in regards to the blood sugar diabetes type of deal.
sure.
I get low blood sugar bouts. I've had them since I was a kid, really. A little hypoglycemia, and I'm curious. We know what it feels like to have those. Man, they're crazy feelings, dizzy and sweaty, and all of that. When it comes to let's talk about like vanity a little bit, muscle, fat, what it does to you when your blood sugar is not steady, because you're always told you want to keep your blood sugar steady, you don't want peaks and droves there. What is it doing to your muscle or your fat stores when that happens?
So when that happens, mainly what your body's trying to do is it's trying to find energy. So, gluconeogenesis, it's going to start breaking down proteins for energy in the liver. So you're pretty much throwing yourself into a catabolic state rather than an anabolic state when it comes to muscle building. So on a cellular level, it's the same thing. Insulin is anabolic on a cellular level, but not on a muscle level, because it's all about growth and energy production and stuff like that. And then glucagon is more so insulin is is anabolic, and then glucagon, which is when the liver is actually functioning to generate energy to spike the fight or flight response, second messengers in the body where it's breaking down lipids, alpha receptors, beta receptors is triggering all this stuff, norepinephrine. Those are all ketogenic, catabolic functions within the body. So when our blood sugars drop, those functions will be activated because you're basically in a fight or flight response to not die. So
it's bad for gains, it sounds like.
It is. Yeah, it is.
And I've been always told that the way to kind of avoid those situations is, if you're going to have a carb, always have it in combination with a protein source or a fat source, something that's going to help it so that it doesn't spike up. Because by itself, it'll cause spikes. If you combine it, it won't. Do you see it that way? Is that the truth there?
More with fat than protein. So when I eat like a high fat diet, like let's say, I think the wife's going to go get some In-N-Out tonight. So I'll have some carbs, some fat, some protein. The fat will actually slow the glycogen from entering the cells or being spiked, in the bloodstream. So it'll slow that spike. down, but I'm screwed up 4 hours later because there's a response. Once the fat digests and the protein digests, then all of a sudden the glucose just shoots. So it's hard. I don't believe that that to control blood sugars. It's just like when you have intermittent fasting, and then you have guys out there saying, "Oh, I take EAAs or BCAAs when I'm fasting," and they're given the impression that they're not going to spike insulin. Insulin is always being spiked throughout the day. Your body's always going to prefer glucose over any other energy source, so it will make glucose. It will make energy. So the idea of I don't know about it. I do off on a tangent. Sometimes my wife's saying, "Hey, slow down." So when you're doing the sources, if you are trying to keep your blood sugar elevated and regulated, you're already producing insulin, pretty much. I mean, you're not a type 2 diabetic, right? Okay, you just have hyperglycemia. So what's going to happen? I think too much fat in your diet is going to keep you in that hyperglycemic level, but moderate to low fat within your meals is probably going to be better for you. It's going to be more sustainable.
For the usual person, who I might be talking to about diet, some people say, I'll have an apple as a snack. And I'll say, okay, but if you're going to have an apple as a snack, it's just been this rule of thumb that I don't know where it's been created. I've had it in me for years now, maybe from my original trainer, 10, 12 years ago, that if you're going to have an apple, then have some almonds along with it, or have a little protein with it. And
honestly, it's legit, because a handful of almonds is not going to give you a lot of fat, and it's going to give you a little bit of protein. But most people, I used to personal train too, and I used to say, yeah, almonds, and I'd find out that they're saying, I'm not losing weight, and they're like, oh, I ate a whole can of almonds the other day, and I'm like, wait a second, that's exactly not going to work. So
I can't keep almond butter or peanut butter in my house because it's gone. I mean, it's once it starts, it's like ice cream for me. It just keeps going.
I hear you. Now, during training, though, if you do go low during training, make sure you're having carbs. If you're taking EAAs at the same time, 20 grams, because you're not going to use more than 10 or 20 carbs during or glycogen or glucose within a workout. But what's going to happen is if you are prone to going low, so like myself being a type 1 diabetic, if I train longer than 45 minutes or an hour, I need 10 to 20 grams of carbs. If I don't, and I just take EAAs during training, my body will totally wipe out those EAAs, which I want for muscle building. I want that leucine spike, and for muscle building, it'll use all those EAAs for energy. So I throw some glucose in there to where my body's going to save that stuff and then turn to the glucose for the energy during the training.
Very cool.
Yeah. And how do you think your training's different as a diabetic? Would you train the same way, you think, if you weren't diabetic?
It's hard to say, because when I came down with diabetes or type 1 diabetes, I was approached by a guy who was a CrossFit coach. So years ago, I did CrossFit for years, and it was almost ingrained in me to train a certain way from the CrossFit training. And then when I got older, I was like, I'm not going to. Too many people are getting hurt. I'm 47, 46. I'm going to design my own training. And then how I train now is basically the evolution of what I've learned.
Well, what's that look like for the viewer? You're training now.
For me, it is push, pull, legs the first 3 days. I take a day off, and then I hit chest and back, and then I hit buys, tries, and shoulders. And I focus on those. And then every day, I know everybody does, a lot of people do cardio days and stuff like that. I think you do cardio days, don't you? All right.
Yeah. Well, I split my cardio and my training up. I'll do cardio in the morning and then train later or whatever. Okay.
So I do 5 minutes before to get the, the lipids kind of going, get the lymphatic system working on elliptical, just bouncing up and down. And then I do 10 minutes after every workout. So I don't have a specific cardio day, like where I do 30, 45 minutes. And my training is supersets. So it's all supersets. And that's the only way I can hit in 45 minutes to 50 minutes. You're like me, where I can hit 26 sets, 30 sets. I'm high volume. I found out years ago when I was putting together training programs for other people that the low volume doesn't do much for physique, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You really have to dial into the diet to get that way. So I have with the supersets and keeping the sets or the reps around 8 to 12 on the majority of the time, taking everything to not absolute failure, but failure in the motion as far as creating a movement.
A lot of people throw that word failure around real loosely, and like true failure is really pushing yourself.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people have really know what it's like to train to like true failure in a lot of sense, you know.
Well, even a lot of new beginners, like we've been training for a while, and I don't think there's like I train with my buddy Austin, and I still don't. I'm in there, but I still see that he's got a couple more reps here and there. You know what I mean? But to him at that time, that's failure to him. You know.
Right.
So, but to me, it's further.
Yeah, I mean, I mean myself too. It's very rare that I do this set till I'm just exhausted and can't push out anything more. I mean, I train by myself most of the time, so that stops it too. Yeah. So, as far as supplement goes, first of all, back on the diabetic thing, I had a question. What's going on? Are there any new developments you've seen in your world with this this freaking madness with Ozempic that's happening?
No, and for your listeners, so Ozempic, what it does, it increases your production of insulin. So it's very destructive if you're not if you're just willy-nilly taking it. You need to be monitored by a doctor to do it, because increasing insulin in your body when you are probably the reason why you have weight gain is because you're insulin resistant. Increasing insulin to a certain level to just force glucose into cells that are already damaged and impermeable because you're eating too many bad fats, you're not taking enough fish oil, you're not actually making yourself resistant, is going to screw you up. So Ozempic is not a diabetic drug, in my opinion. It's probably the worst thing for type 2 diabetes because of the fact that type 2 diabetics are insulin resistant. That's pretty much why they're not, triggering response in the cell.
The term that I've heard is pre-diabetic, that it's a pre-diabetic medication. Is that?
I mean, that would make more sense, but what are they determining on pre-diabetic? Right. And then how is somebody's diet like somebody's low carb because they're feeling like crap trying to lose weight and they go in to see a doctor and the sugars are 170, they consider that pre-diabetic. But if they eat normal, are they going to be 250? Are they going to be 300? So, because there's no test to be able to tell how resistant you are to insulin. So I think it's I don't know if this answers your question. I think it's a sad thing because I'm seeing the commercials myself, and all I'm sitting there thinking to myself is all the customers that I've ran into that have taken it, talking about how they had stomach problems, they've had intestinal issues. One lady said she's been screwed up for over a year after taking it. So and these are all being pushed down by the medical community, all these bad responses people are having.
Well, I know someone personally who may or may not live in my home who works in the hospital and is saying that there are people coming in and one is like non-responsive mentally and there's some like really serious things that are being seen and they haven't they can't 1000% say this is because of Ozempic, but they're thinking that's the thing that they have in common with some really nasty side effects that could be lifelong, possibly.
But they look good.
It's
vanity.
like that's the debate, David. It's like
Yeah.
the debate is like, well, the risk of the Ozempic maybe is worth the risk of them being morbidly obese or something. It's like I don't. It seems like, is there a lot of unknowns, or are we sure this is a horrible idea at this point?
To be honest with you, my personal opinion, I think it's a horrible idea. The long-term effects that we're going to see in society on this, long-term, are going to be damaging, I think, to people. Because for one thing, they're pushing this drug, but doctors, if they were educated on more on a biological level to how the body operates, they could take natural supplements, change somebody's diet to make them more insulin sensitive. So on one hand, people are choosing
That's not as easy.
Right. It's that's what I was going to say. People are choosing to be lazy and want the quick fix, just like we've seen in the fitness industry, like always. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if people choose it, just like anybody else in the world, you choose to do something. If but I just feel like they need to know the negatives, not just the positives. And these commercials are just pushing it with positives all the time.
I mean, I'm not surprised at this point, but I'm still kind of amazed how, like, all of our doctors just are on board. And it's like, you just go to the doctor, like, if you're just a household wife and you have a little extra poundage, you go and you're on Ozempic. And it's like, that's pretty insane. Shelby, you have any questions? Or you want me to go to my next?
Well, I mean, I wanted to ask on a different topic. So, yeah. I guess supplementation and taking breaks from them every so often, I wanted to know your take on what would be the most important types of supplements, whether they're caffeine, creatine, things like that you think are really important to stop for a while, because our bodies get used to it and it'll be way more beneficial for us to break and then come back.
I mean, we have the debate on caffeine. I think a low level of caffeine for somebody daily is fine. I mean, it's nice to take a day off or 2 days off. I like how Ari pushes the stim breaks, because it makes people aware of that. But caffeine has not really been shown in studies to be damaging unless it's misused. Of course, there are other stimulants that, like if someone's taking a pre-workout, where you got synephrine, you got alpha yo and GYMHOMIE, you should be taking a break on them. I've taken things long term, like Ari knows I put together a couple formulas, and I literally take the formulas, and I've taken some of these ingredients long term, like over and over, 7 days, 14 days straight, 20 days, 30 days straight. And there's reactions that you could have to it. I mean, I had ringing in the ears. I was getting sleepy and tired during the day, but it made me dive in to find out, like, what ingredients doing this. So not only stims, but people should take a break from choline, because you're already getting it in your diet, and they're just whopping pre-workouts with choline. I mean, we're seeing 800 milligrams of alpha GPC. I saw a gram one time. L-tyrosine is actually decent, and that's in a lot of pre-workouts. And the reason for that is your body can actually, it's a precursor to dopamine and norepinephrine, and your body can actually use it for T4, T3 hormones, plus other things in your system. So when I see pre-workouts or someone taking tyrosine every day, I don't see a negative to that. And L-citrulline, of course, is fine. You're going to be fine. When you're dealing with,
I'm sorry, I'm not even necessarily talking from a safety standpoint. Of course, that's super important, but more from like an effectiveness. Are we going to, for caffeine, for instance, like if I'm just even a coffee drinker, I mean, I'm a pre-workout guy, but if I'm having 2 cups, 3 cups of coffee a day, and I take off for a week or even 2 weeks, and then I come back, is the potency going to be stronger? Am I going to enjoy what that feels like again?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. As far as caffeine, any stim, any nootropic, you're going to have the same effects. I give the viewers a tip though, like if you are someone like myself, so being a type 1 diabetic, caffeine is always around because if I don't have sugar, I need something. And sometimes I've actually been, 70, 75 and feeling it coming on, no sugar, have to get to a store, I'll pop a caffeine pill to get me going. But if you are someone who's like me and needs your caffeine boost every single day, then pick yourself up some agmatine. You don't want to take it around protein, but the end of the day, after you've done your caffeine dosage and stuff like that, take a gram, 1.5 grams of agmatine. Agmatine resets the NMD receptors in the brain. It's used for coming off of drugs, for drug addicts. People are stuck and hooked on it, and it will actually reset those NMD receptors every day, which is your they have a lot to do with your the feeling that you get, like the dopamine hit where you're craving to have this feeling, so they damper that down. So, and they'll also damper the effects of the ingredient to where the next day it'll work a little better.
How much? Oh, sorry, Ar.
One gram. I mean, you can go up as high as 2 grams, but let's just be fair, 1 to 2 grams. But with anything, you always start on the low end. That's the best way to do it. Yeah.
And is rudisepine anything like that, where it kicks caffeine off your brain, supposedly, or
that will it's supposed to kick it out of the, I think it's out of the liver. It flushes it from the liver. I think it flushes it out of the liver and out of the body, if I remember right.
Because they advertised it that if you kind of are someone who takes caffeine a little late at night and you take this sleep supplement with rudisepine, it will help detox it out of you quicker so you can go to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, a few studies have proven that. I don't get any kind of reset when I take a sleep supplement with it, myself. But it is, the studies.
Not like Phenibut, huh?
No. I actually don't touch it. I don't touch it because
the Phenibut.
I got an addictive personality, just like you. It's just, I wouldn't even say that. I have a very structured personality. So if something fit, then I try to fit it in.
Yeah. No, you got to be careful with it. It's people run with it, and I'll be honest. Like, I take a 10-day stim break every 3 months. I'm not going to pretend that I come back and feel the stim so much better. I mean, it's maybe a little bit, and I definitely like the rest and recovery time, because I also take a rest 10 days and I don't work out.
Right.
But it's not like I come back to a pre-workout and it blows my head off after that, But I still feel, I mean, I could take a daily driver with 200 milligrams of caffeine and I still feel great and get a good workout,
Right.
So
you're not overdoing it,
I'm not overdoing it. No.
Right. I mean,
like one hit a day, but when you started talking to Shelby, you said, a low level of caffeine, every day is okay. The problem with that is some of my viewers hear a low level, and that might mean something much different to them than it does to you.
500 milligrams.
Gram might be low. I'm on a stim break, 400 milligrams. Yeah,
that's crazy. That's actually crazy. I mean, I have a day, like an average that I usually do, and it's usually 350 a day. So when it comes towards the end of the day, with all the running around, the driving I do, just trying to be on my game with my sugars fluctuating from 90 to 160. Yeah. But yeah, anything higher than 600 is, I don't think it's safe. I mean, they've done studies on it, says it is, but that's too much taxing on the central nervous system there, in my opinion.
So do we know of any long-term, are there any long-term concerns with using pre-workouts for years or anything like that, or pre-workouts with nootropics, pre-workouts with stimulants, whatever it is? Is there any reason to be concerned about it?
We've talked about this before, and I brought out, I remember in a podcast that we were on, someone asked you and me about the same type of question. And then you mentioned about the stimulants, and my concern is nootropics. So
more than stimulants.
Yeah, because I personally have known if I take Macunaprinis, like I take it constantly every day in a pre-workout. Like when I designed a pre with no choline, just a dopamine hit. So I hit that dopamine hit for 14 days straight, and when I came off of it, I didn't feel right for a day or two. Like it, and I felt like I needed a little bit. I literally had to go back on and take a
Wow.
little bit each day to actually make myself feel normal again. So in my opinion, those kind of like those type of hitting ingredients, even choline and heparazine A, like that type of stuff, we shouldn't be messing with the chemistry of the brain so much. So that's my concern more than some of these caffeine dose. Now DMHA, other D, I don't know if we can say it on YouTube anymore. I don't want to get.
I say it, but don't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the exotic stems, definitely they would take a toll on your body. It's just like so when you're dealing with like DMHA, hordenine, these ingredients here, they activate the beta receptors. Now the beta receptors are in the heart, they're in the brain, and a lot of people get racing heart from those is because they antagonize those receptors, which gets the heart pumping faster. So if you're constantly doing that, it's kind of like if you were taking not an ACE inhibitor, but like a blood pressure medicine. Like my wife, she's taking 2 blood pressure medicines that they gave her. She's been taking for years. She tried to get off one, and 5 o'clock when she got off, every day she tried to get off. At 5 o'clock, boom, her heart started racing. Bum, 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 bum. She just freaked her out. So she's now stuck on it. Like it just freaks her out so much.
Yeah.
And that's the beta receptors that have been suppressed in that medicine and for taking it for so long. So if you take that in consideration with the idea of hordenine, alpha-yo, synephrine, all these ingredients that attack those receptors, yeah, you should be cautious about that stuff.
And I agree. And my thing about it too is if it's getting in the way of your recovery, then it's really bad. Because if you're like I know everyone's different. I get at least 8 hours of sleep every night, which really, I believe, really contributes greatly to me feeling stimulants better and stuff because I'm well rested. I feel like my like I'm in bed at 9:30 every night at the latest, and I get a good 8.5 hours, and it's like clockwork. And I really think that's helped me a lot with the supplement use. I don't feel ever like dragged down or anything like that by it. Like I don't rely on them to wake me up. They're kind of like an addition to bring me to the, make me feel better. You know what I mean? And I tell people like the rest and recovery is always number one, so if the pre-workouts are getting in the way of that, you're staying up at night, they're not letting you sleep or any of that, then you got to cut them out. I mean, that's using them despite negative consequences, essentially.
Right.
And I think that's a bad idea. Do you, I mean, for me, I don't take the D's any more than once to twice a week tops. And
I'm right with you. Yeah.
And they're spaced out by 3 to 4 days always. So, yeah.
Did you, something that was pretty, I don't know, it felt like it was eye-opening at the time. I heard an interview on Rogan with Gary Brecka. Are you familiar with Gary Brecka at all?
No.
He seemed like a bright guy. He was talking about getting blood work done in order to understand where your gene mutations are, and then that result will help you know what supplements you should take based on deficiencies and things like that. He calls it the mother effer test because of the various genes that you're dealing with.
Right.
MTHRR, MTHFR, all these different things. But one of the points also during that interview that he was trying to make was about methylated vitamins, and how some vitamins that we take are not going to get absorbed or get used, and methylated vitamins are much more effective, and that will allow our bodies to use them. And I'm wondering if you have any idea, understanding, or opinion on that.
So there's just off the top of my head, we all know if you watch you guys always watch my videos when I talk about betaine anhydrous, and I talk about it's a methyl donor. betaine is our methyl donors, and betaine is produced by choline intake and the body's use of choline. So we have other mechanisms of creating methyl donors, which are super important. So we don't necessarily need the most expensive methylated vitamins, but yeah, if somebody can afford it. For me, been doing this for so long and been trying different things. In my opinion, the diet should be in check if you're taking a vitamin. But if you can't afford the most expensive vitamin supplement, then shoot, buy Animal Pack. You know, get it in there. Your body's going to at least it's going to utilize some of it and hopefully fill in those gaps for nutritional deficiencies. But yeah, all in all, if your pocketbook can take the hit, and you can find actually a supplement that puts all those methylated vitamins, you know, the right forms that we want to take in one particular supplement, then yeah, I mean, yeah, go for it. That is the best bet. And honestly, I'm glad you asked that, because I believe multivitamins or vitamin and minerals are so underrated. I mean, we review pre-workouts and stuff like that. I think should be a staple in somebody's diet, you know, because our food is just so degraded nowadays. It's not like it used to be.
I'm on a pretty big vitamin regimen now. I've been on.
Good. Yeah, because I can go off on a tangent, but I'll just say this real quick. B6 is a coenzyme for so many different functions in the body. And I'm not saying that for someone to go buy a B6 vitamin and overload on it, because it's just like B12. You don't need a whole lot of it. You just need a consistent amount of it, because the liver stores a lot of those B vitamins for use later on. Copper is super important for ATP production, magnesium, ATP production, you know. So, yeah, vitamins and minerals, everybody should be taking a vitamin.
Because there was a big, you know, there was a long time in the industry where it said, multivitamins are complete BS. You just pee it all out. It's nonsense. And I think, well, first of all, I don't think all multivitamins are created equal, right?
No, they're not. Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's some, like I'm on Transparent Labz. I don't know if it seems, I like them as a brand. So I stay on their multi. And like their magnesium, and I have zinc and a B complex, vitamin C. I'm on their joint care, and there was one more of them, a vitamin D and K2.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Real quick. Hey, so for the viewers that don't know, we were taught or told a long time ago that we need calcium for healthy bones, but they have a new study that's come out that says calcium is not the main driver for healthy bones. It's vitamin D and vitamin K. It actually takes calcium. So we don't have to take an enormous amount of calcium, just a reasonable amount. The vitamin D and K will actually help the calcium enter the bones. Without K and D, then it's not going to enter the bones.
You're saying the milk industry has misled us?
We've been duped, man.
Elsie the cow has misled us. Huh?
Is there anything within a multivitamin or within a B complex vitamin that you would say to avoid, like a particular chemical or supplement that would be good to avoid? Something in B12's cyanocobalamin.
Psychocobalamin, I think is what they call it. It's a small form of cyanide, so it's a delivery mechanism. They've done studies on it that it's not enough to cause any kind of damage, as far as I know. But if you can get the methylcobalamin, it took me a while. I put my wife's vitamins together, so I give her like single ingredients, and I had to find a B complex that had the methylcobalamin in it, and it was so hard to find that. But yeah, if you're gonna do B12, if you can find the methylated form, then definitely take that for sure. Because I mean, who the heck really wants to take cyanide? Well, there's no proven studies that it damages you, so I'm not saying that. But come on.
Yeah, right.
Interesting.
And don't combine it with potassium if you do.
Potassium cyanide.
Right.
David, what's your experience? I just recently reviewed a diuretic for Insane Labs. what are your thoughts on diuretics and water retention? You know, the concern that I've heard that some people have, and that the guy who got, you know, me and Shelby know, who guided me for a lot of the fitness stuff I know, and I've heard other people, that the body can potentially go into defense mode, and you could have the opposite effect, and it could hold on to water because it sees that you're doing something, I guess, not natural to force water out. So is that true? Is there any truth to that?
The mechanism is when the body recognizes mostly of magnesium loss, because magnesium is extracellular fluid based. It's an extracellular fluid, but it's required for I can't millions of processes within the body. So when you start to remove that the exterior fluid from diuretics, magnesium is going to flush out. So there is this response where the body will start storing water in that effect, which then could backfire because you're really not getting the mineral back. You're just taking in a lot of water because
right.
Yeah.
So a lot of like really reputable coaches that I've heard, not a lot, a few, you know, when they're coaching someone for a contest or whatever, they'll say like a big mistake people make is last second they'll want to, you know, use diuretics and stuff, and when they've been on a nice steady course, they'll go into kind of panic mode the last few days or whatever, and they'll end up kind of screwing themselves with changing up what they've been doing that works for them. And you know,
especially if they're low carb, yeah,
they'll end up flat is a big term,
right.
you know.
Right.
So do you think there's a time and a place for diuretics, or do you just not like those supplements in general?
I think if somebody's eating like a high sodium diet, you know, like you don't use salt at all. I use salt for the iodine purpose, to be honest with you, because iodine is super important for thyroid function. So that's my way of getting the iodine from being, you know, instead of iodine deficiency. So I use salt, but if somebody is actually really like they salt everything and they feel like they're being bloated because of their salt intake, then I think diuretics are fine to take because it'll help maintain it. But that's a mineral that's lost, that when they use a diuretic, it's not going to backfire like it would be for a contest prep, where you're cutting down carbs, which means you're not storing water anymore, because carbs help you store water. And then you take a diuretic and you just wipe yourself out. And like Shelby said, you look flat.
And I have really tried to reassess my ideology about sodium, because I do think it's important. So I have been, you know, like I take this Transparent Labz hydrate now that is like 500 milligrams in a scoop.
Good.
And and I don't notice any water retention, but it's because I'm at a really clean diet and living. When the weekend comes and I have these cheat meals, I mean, I am very sensitive to it, and I blow like me and my brother seem to both be very sensitive to holding on to water. And so it seems like I like the idea that maybe a diuretic Monday or Tuesday will help flush some of that out. But I think the body's going to do what the body's going to do if you just go back to eating clean, really.
Right. But, you know, in the case you're describing there, it's not going to having a diuretic 2 days after you go through a cheat meal isn't going to probably backfire on you, make you store stuff. One thing I do want to say for you, because I know you watch your sodium intake still, make sure you're consuming potassium. So they both are in the body. They're in certain different sections of the body, but they both serve the same type of functions. So when you lower sodium, you want to raise your potassium. Vice versa too, you know. So yeah.
And me and Shelby have been taking just here and there. I'll throw it on top of the pre-workout, like Apollon Nutrition Molotov, to just get that sweat going. Well, you know, the full serving is 4 caps. I take 1 up to 2 caps. I've not I don't do 3 or 4. Like that seems insane to me. Like 4 caps of Molotov. Like a quarter dose even, I'll notice excess sweat and stuff. And is there any science behind that as a fat burner? I mean, I know fat burners don't exactly burn fat, but is there is it really just if you enjoy sweating and that's about as far as the benefit goes, or?
Most people on those type of supplements are going to notice weight loss from water loss right off the bat. There are some good studies, like the ingredients in there. I don't know what you're talking about is new formula, right?
The new one has dandelion root, which is cool.
I have some on my shelf. Yeah, I take dandelion root every other day, something
How
like that.
much do you take of that? 520. It comes
like,
in 520s or something like that. I think.
Yeah,
520 milligrams.
The one I have is by now, and I think it's 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll take one. You'll take a single.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll take it before a workout, basically, and then I do feel like my metabolism's kicked up. I do feel a little more sweaty.
It says you're recording and stuff.
Are we good?
Yeah, now it's recording.
I'm running to the bathroom. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is some benefits to actually those non-stim burners.
I think so. I think a fat burner. So what was it? Innofarm, even Jake's fat burner. The what do they call it? The
Caliente.
Yeah. Okay. They'll be beneficial. It's just the stim hit and a fat burner. You'd actually literally like grains of paradise and some of these ingredients. You have to take them every day. My favorite fat burner for those that are out there that an everyday fat burner is NCN Supps. Is it not Synergy? What do they have? They have a fat burner, NCN Supps. You can find it on that.
No, not Synedrex.
No, that was their pre-workout. What's their fat burner? Shoot.
We're gonna find it right now. You ready?
Yeah. It's decent to take.
They have a fat burner.
2 a day.
Can you see the screen?
No, I can't.
Shredderex.
There you go. Yeah, he dosed that thing.
See the screen?
I see the screen, but I don't see it on there. Oh, that's your video.
That's the video. Oh, we got the wrong screen. I'm sharing. That's my hooligan review. Hold on. Let me stop this. I'm going to share. Here it is. Boom. Did you see it?
Yep. That's it. Yeah, Christopher did a really good job with that. Actually, he was when he put that formula out, he was one of the first people starting to use grains of paradise at that time. So
he was one of the first people to send me supplements.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Oh, it has GBB at 10 milligrams.
Right, very low dose.
Whoa, it has 2 kinds of GBB?
Oh, he might have changed it since the last time I've taken it.
One's the, oh no, that's very, I don't know. Oh, the GBB 7.5.
Okay.
I had to sit in a bathtub for 4 hours after taking GBB because I was walking around my house sweating.
That was on Shogun. That was on Shogun.
I think that's happened to all of us.
I just had to sit there and take it.
That's 50 milligrams. It's kind of enjoyable, and something about it intensifies the stim experience.
Molotov, when I took Molotov, and I think I reviewed it, and I said I'm never taking a full dose again, but I took a full dose 2 days in a row, and I remember coming back up after a workout, and I was taking my shirt off because I was sweating. Then I started putting a jacket on because I had started to shiver. Oh man, it was a horrible experience. Yeah, it was
ugly.
Yeah. Somebody asked if there's any actual health benefits to alpha-yohimbine. They said they like taking 1 milligram a day, and they want to believe that products like El Jefe are actually healthy too, if used wisely and not just for fun. But I don't want to fool myself.
I want to believe that Nutella has a lot of health benefits. Maybe it does. Maybe it
no health benefits.
No health benefits whatsoever.
Just a stim hit.
It's a stim hit, but it's small. I mean, 1 milligram. I mean, after a while, I would imagine you wouldn't even really feel it anymore. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think yohimbine HCl has a vasodilation benefit to it because of its alkaloids. Well, it has very few alkaloids in it. I mean, it's going to help the small blood vessels dilate, but still not every single day. That's why you can use it in boner pills, because it helps with the small blood vessels as far as
Are there any ingredients that you actually feel help with strength output in the gym,
Oh
help
yeah,
you with your power?
anything that causes cell hydration. Could be creatine before a workout. So creatine won't have like an ATP effect if you're not, saturated with it, but it will have a cell swelling effect when it's in a pre-workout. So you might get
So
some
there
cell
is an
swelling.
immediate benefit to
It
creatine.
is an osmolyte, yeah. So it's an osmolyte, so it will hydrate the cells, just like betaine anhydrous is another one. So you creatine and betaine anhydrous together plus glycerol. I mean, all those three would hydrate the cells as long as you're drinking enough water. So we
I
have.
knew there's something to betaine anhydrous because when I've taken products with like 5 grams of it, I can feel stronger. I mean, I have felt like the weights are lighter when I've taken like 5 grams of betaine. How about glycerol? They claim that it helps with endurance in
It
also.
does on the cellular hydration level, like to hydrate the cells. But the dosages that we're getting in pump formulas and stuff are like half of what, even at the max dose, they're half of what should be taken. The studies were done off, I think, of close to 10 grams for endurance. So we're only getting, what, 3 sometimes. So all the benefits in the gym with that at the low dosages, all we're doing is getting that, cell swelling, feeling bigger coming out of the gym.
And speaking of creatine, monohydrate, of course, the traditional creatine, HCl. What's up with creatine HCl? Is it recommended? Is it
Uh,
anything good?
I've tried them all. Personally, I like the combinations. Like who is it? 5% Nutrition had a combination creatine that was, phosphate and all that. That was best I ever reacted off it. HCl, HCl is supposed to, and from what I understand, some people it does work this way. It enters through the small intestines a lot easier. So it will, if somebody reacts well to it, they will not have an upset stomach if they get an upset stomach from monohydrate or like gassy feeling and stuff like that. But as far as all creatines will cause cell swelling, all creatines will cause you to retain water because that's how they work. They draw water and things into the cell, phosphates, all that stuff, make creatine phosphate, all that production happens to hydrate the cells. So, yeah.
So I've always been told and tell others as a result, and another one of these things that when you're taking creatine, very important that you're drinking, that your water intake is high.
Yeah.
And I'll say, somewhere between 96 ounces and 128 ounces a gallon, something like that.
Right.
Truth.
True.
Correct?
Yeah, true. I don't care what they say. They've done tons of studies. And being a type 1 diabetic, when I take creatine and I'm working my butt off and running around, and I know I'm dehydrated, if I go in for blood work or something like that, my creatinine, oh no, correct, that's another creatine. My creatine is high in my kidneys. So we need to constantly be flushing that stuff out. I mean, they've done studies that it's not supposed to harm anything, and there were some myths at one time without any studies backing it that it could cause kidney damage. So there are no studies that say that it does cause kidney damage. But when you look at the whole big picture of things, yeah, you want to be careful.
Because nowadays, I think people are getting more up with hearing about creatine having good mental effects as well.
Right.
And so I think a lot of those people, they might be older people who are like, oh, I'm going to start taking creatine now. And if they're, not drinking adequate amount of water, which most people probably don't, then they could be setting themselves up for some kidney issues, right?
Yeah, I feel anybody that has possible kidney issues should be actually avoiding creatine. I mean, they'll say different stuff here and there. I mean, but there are. I just want to let the viewers know there are no studies that are confirming that creatine can't cause any kind of damage in the body. It's more on a health aspect, and the dosages have been kind of changed here and there. They used to say 3 to 5 grams, but then I'm reading studies that people who are weighing like my weight, like 230 pounds, that I should be taking 10 grams if I'm going to take it for the benefits. And it makes sense because actually when I do take a little bit more, I do have the energy effect later on. Personally, I don't know how RA is, but creatine has never built muscle on me. I don't feel like it has ever built muscle. I've just noticed the cell swelling or the
I've just
osmosis.
always really stayed on it, and I've always figured that even if I wasn't on it, it probably wouldn't have made any difference. I don't know. I mean,
No harm, no foul, right?
I figure it's just, it's just one of those things I stay on because I like want to, everyone says it's the one tried and true thing that everyone, so I just do it. It's so easy to throw in my pre-workout. Pretty much, I do it like the days I work out, I throw it in my pre-workout or whatever. So it's like 5 days a week, and I'm not like the days I rest, I'm not like, oh, I got to get my creatine in this day.
Right,
it's like
right.
I figure it's pretty much in my system.
Well, people talk about that. Some people say it has to be saturated in order to do anything. So it's important that you do take it every day, even on rest days.
Isn't it saturated if you've taken it 5 days a week, pretty much?
You have to take it for it's almost a month, 20 to 30 days to be saturated. Right. It's kind of the same thing with betaine and beta alanine, same thing. So,
but I've taken it for 9 years, 5 days a week. I'm probably saturated.
You're saturated. Yeah, you're saturated if you're doing that. Like I'm off it. Like I haven't taken it for 2 months.
Me too.
Yeah. And I've had no problem with strength in the gym. I haven't lost any muscle. I wasn't gaining any on it. So yeah, I think most of the muscle gain with creatine and the studies has been with more of a and I don't like to use this word because I don't want it to like put anybody down, but more newbies, people coming in, beginners, just learning how to train.
They're gaining muscle anyway.
Right off the bat, yeah. So it's kind of interesting, but the studies on the brain health, the creatine phosphate for the energy production, it's supposed to be true. When I go off of it, I do other things. Like right now, I'm doing glutathione and a few other things for more of a
glutathione. That's what PJ Braun said was the best antioxidant.
So yeah, I mean he was right. I enjoyed that podcast. I like PJ. So I take reduced glutathione, which is the better absorbed one, and I take pine bark extract with it as well, because pine bark extract has been shown to elevate reduced glutathione. So when you supplement with it, which the reduced glutathione, he takes injections. So I'm not going to go.
He's hardcore. Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
That dude is freaking hardcore. He was telling me and Shelby, like that stuff is way above my pay grade. What he does.
Yeah, but I take reduced glutathione anywhere between 500 to a gram, and then I'll take 250 to 400 milligrams of pine bark extract. I notice a difference. My sugar levels are better. My energy levels after taking it are better. I also throw. Sometimes I'll throw some NAC in there as well because NAC is also a glutathione raiser. And the thing about glutathione is oxygen. Red blood cells deliver oxygen through our tissues in the body. And I think I did a video on where I mentioned something about this, but oxygen is broken down into transfer, which creates reactive oxidative species, which are, breaking down particles of oxygen that break down that can actually damage the red blood cells. So if you have glutathione, which red blood cells do produce glutathione to protect themselves, if you have enough, then you're going to constantly maintain that oxygen delivery in your body through the red blood cells. And also the liver enzymes and stuff like that are going to be helpful.
I should get some.
Yeah. I'll send you what I take. It's pretty cheap as far as I get on Amazon. So
yeah. I get these questions sometimes. I don't know if you get them. People ask me like, "What's the best pre-workout for a power lifter?" And I'm like, "Well, that's really loaded." It's like it's no different than asking me what's the best pre-workout for a bodybuilder to me, because it's like it depends what you want to feel like in a pre-workout. Like, right. I try and think of what has the most power output ingredients, but it's like still doesn't.
Food is going to have probably a bigger impact than anything on that. I mean,
how you feel yourself before a workout as well. Mm-hmm. But we were talking about like the osmolytes, something that's low stim with osmolytes in it, like betaine anhydrous, high dosages, some citrulline. Once you get into like a DMHA pre-workout, you might feel like you're stronger doing a regular bodybuilding workout, but doing CrossFit for years where I did powerlifting as well. being too stimmed and the central nervous system being too taxed can limit your strength gains as you're going, but you would feel good in the beginning. So low stimmed, no exotic stims in a pre would be for powerlifting type, strength type workouts.
My homie wanted me to ask you what your thoughts are on dihydroberberine.
So as a type 1 diabetic, it does absolutely nothing to me. I think if somebody wants something healthy and they don't go crazy with it, to lower cholesterol, because it's been shown to do that, which is good, but we want cholesterol because it produces testosterone, but to lower cholesterol, and also to help with AMPK activation, which is some extra energy and fat loss, which then can help with glucose, removal out of the bloodstream. If you're a regular person, then it's fine. There's no damaging effects. It's when people start overdoing it. You do more than a gram a day, and then it could backfire on you.
I think he's claimed that he's seen himself get kind of ripped using it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he's being moderate with it and he's not overdoing it, he's probably seeing some results and he's reacted very well to it. There's actually no harm. The only harm I've seen is in studies where they've done excessive dosages, like 2 grams or higher. So I always tell people to start at 1 gram and then, don't go any higher than 1.5 just to be safe for long term, because it's something that once somebody starts seeing results, like your buddy's going to stay on it. Like he's going to be, if he's seeing stuff.
I think Apollon has one they dropped or something.
They do. Yeah, they have one that is the dihydroberberine. I haven't tried it, but Robic's pretty good about sourcing and stuff like that. So I'm sure it's pretty good. Yeah.
Me and my brother have talked about this on the show before, and I wanted to get your thoughts on saunas and ice baths for recovery.
I think they're awesome.
You do?
Yeah. I think saunas are great. You see a lot of fitness.
The saunas I love.
Yeah. Ice baths. You have to be a certain screwed up person to love ice baths. I used to do it on CrossFit, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in kind of like a crazy, like you gotta be Maniaco.
Yeah.
All right.
You gotta like to suffer, right?
Yeah.
You gotta want to torture. Yeah.
That's like got big with the Joe Rogan crowd and Andrew Huberman or whatever. Those guys like to talk about it. But what I was saying was the problem as a bodybuilder is you don't want to take away anything that gets rid of inflammation, right?
Right. Yeah.
Is that valid?
To maximize gains, yeah, but ice baths they shouldn't be taken like right after your training. That's counterproductive,
So it's more of like that first thing in the morning people.
Yeah, like when I was doing CrossFit, I used to do it on like when I wasn't training, or sometimes before, even like hours before, but never after training. The sauna is actually great. There's been tons of studies on the saunas. I'm starting to see them pop up in customers' houses.
I mean, I'm in it every day. Me and Shelby both.
They're in our houses, yep.
Right.
Do you think the infrared is just as good as the traditional?
I actually haven't looked into it as far as the infrared. I've heard kind of mixed people on YouTube. I drive a lot. I listen to YouTube where people have mixed takes on it. But I think as far as anything that's going to heat the body up to get rid of some of those toxins, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So what was your worst pre-workout experience?
I'm pretty cautious though. What was my worst? You know what? Who was it? Unbound Supps. This is when I first started getting in reviews, and they were the first one to come out with. I think they told me, or they said that you can stack 2 of their products. It was a fat burner and a pre-workout, and I was messing around with it, and I stacked them. But instead of stacking them as 1 scoop and 1 scoop, I stacked it as 2 scoops and 2 scoops, and it was pretty much the worst feeling.
That one had very strong alpha yo.
Oh man, yeah.
That was like me and Shelby on the Assassin 6.5. It was
yeah. See, but you can handle products like Psychopharma, right? Like you don't have any trouble with that?
Love them.
Yeah.
But they had to grow on me.
Yeah, because that alpha yo hit, even though it's not death, feeling, but it's long and it's harsh.
Yeah, it's really it's something that's got to grow on you. It'll put some hair on your chest. I'll tell
Right.
you that. It's yeah. Shelby likes it now.
I think it takes hair off my chest.
I
It
give
makes
him
me
an edge of insanity, and he likes it.
It put hair on my ass, man. I had to have my
Yeah,
wife shave
right.
it the other day. You know?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Do you have any pre's that you keep coming back to that you really enjoy, or are you just reviewing so much like I am?
I'm like you, like, and I get that asked all the time. What's your favorite? You know, I
Yeah.
always tell, I comment back and I say, give me some choices, and I'll tell you. But I don't
Yeah.
have a favorite. And even like, I remember I asked a comment when you had Jake on, as far as why isn't anybody coming out with anything new? When I tried to put together some pre-workouts, it turned out that they're now been cut down to where they're not even the pre-workout that I designed, because of factors as far as taste, can't source an ingredient, you know, stuff like that. So I really haven't found a pre-workout that fits me, that I can say this is the one I'm going to go to all the time, because I'm really not fond of like the high choline, on the high tyrosine, you know, stuff
Right.
like that. So
Nice. Do you I had a question for you. Oh, do you shake your pre's before you use them?
yeah,
Do
yeah, I
you
do.
shake them up to try to make sure that nothing's
Nothing's
too
left over.
saturated? Mhm.
No, it's more to make sure that nothing's left over.
I see.
If I'm looking at 200 milligrams of caffeine or 500, I'm going to get 500 milligrams of caffeine.
I mean more so before you scoop it, so that you mix
Oh,
the
oh yeah,
ingredient.
yeah, I do, I do. I don't know if
Do
you guys do the same thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
take the scooper out and then mix it up real good, shake it up.
right. Oh,
Because you don't know, they could settle while they're sitting there a little. And
right, right. Geez, I wish I remember the pre-workout. TJ had reviewed a pre-workout, and then I left a comment on his, like he said something like the Yohimbine or whatever, or the Alpha Yo wasn't that strong, and then I went on there and I was like, dude, that was horrible, you know. And then
Hmm.
I went back and I shook it up, because he's like, that's weird. So I did. I shook it up. And that's when I started shaking them up and stirring them. It was like 2 years ago
Right.
this happened,
it's
and
pretty
it made
mind-blowing.
a difference. Made a difference. Yeah.
It's
In the
pretty
mixer.
crazy when you're thinking about taking a scoop of something and you're dealing in milligrams. Because if
Right.
people saw how small 3 milligrams of alpha yo is,
Right.
to have it mixed up perfectly, I mean,
Right.
just is a pretty crazy thing to think about.
Super crazy. Yeah. Definitely.
And not all manufacturers can even mix that up. Some of them, they have to have special equipment to mix up alpha yo, and some of them buy it pre-mixed because
Oh.
they don't have the very special equipment to mix up such a small amount. So
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. And I've heard you comment also on your videos. What is your current take now on artificial sweeteners and colors? I know you have some intel on it. You shared it, and I would love to know how bad you think they are. Are they overblown? What do you think?
So it's just like everything else in the studies. Um, if it's overdone, then it could cause some horrible metabolic issues with the body. So I'm not fond of it. I more or less, like, I don't take like I have protein in there from Panda Supps, and I haven't taken a protein shake in, geez, a month or so. Like, I'll go off and on it. So my diet is pretty in check. So like when I do my reviews, I'm basically letting people know, like, this is a small dose. Like, you're fine taking maybe 2 or 3 protein shakes, not causing a problem. But if you take 6 protein shakes in a day and they're using a bunch of artificial sweeteners like Ace K, sucralose, you are setting yourself up for possible metabolic issues later on if you're doing this consistently every day. And a good sign of that for anybody watching is, if you've been taking a protein drink for a while and it's not the concentrated whey or anything like that, but you go in the restroom and it looked like you just had you just shot a sawed-off shotgun into your toilet of shit, excuse my language, to where it's just all over the place and pasty, then you better back off of that protein, because something is going on in your system, and it's more than likely having to do with those artificial sweeteners not digesting in your stomach and your gut.
What is it, Ari, in the hydrocharge that sucralose? So I love that hydrocharge.
Yeah.
It keeps me. I make popsicles out of it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It gives me a nice it craves a good craving quencher. So I probably take 3 servings of it. I mean, they're tiny scoops for those. But I probably take 3 a day, and I'm like, is this going to be too much sucralose? I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, but if the rest of your diet's clean, I mean, I'm talking from what I've studied. I'm not trying to make anybody nervous. I mean, I've seen Ari's cheat days, and there's got to be a ton of artificial sweeteners in those.
It's a good point. We get caught up on little things it's a very good point. It's, to me, my thing about artificial sweeteners and colors is, it's like, I don't have any obviously evidence or that says don't ever take them or avoid them at all costs. But anytime I get a supplement without it, it feels like a win. Anytime I get like a transparent Labz protein where I'm not taking it, or a hydrate by Transparent Labz, or whatever, some kind of that's clear and not colored, it does feel like a win anytime I'm not taking it, because I take it so much. There's so much stuff with it. So I would prefer not to. I'll sacrifice a little flavor for a naturally flavored supplement. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get it. I think we should all be conscious of it. If anything, like even if like Shelby's, making the pops, even if you take a break every once in a while, it's kind of like a stim thing where you take a break off of it. Just being conscious of the stuff you're buying and the other stuff you're eating outside of these, protein shakes and pre-workouts and stuff like that. So,
because some people will come on the channel and they'll comment and be like, "Oh, it has sucralose. That's cancer causing. I would never touch that." And I'm like, "Whoa, I don't have enough information about that."
Yeah. I mean, they when you dig into the studies and you find the studies that aren't being promoted about the ingredients, like when you really dive down the rabbit hole, there's been, cancer, metabolic conditions. I mean, metabolic conditions alone can lead to all kinds of things in the body. But when they do these studies, it's high dosages, and we're not consuming the high dosages, but they're not wrong,
Right.
And I think it's just how it's an individual preference, just like anything else, what you choose to put in your body, knowing the information that you're given, type thing. So,
do you take GABA?
I don't. I take at night. I reset my serotonin because I do like dopamine. In pre-workouts, I reset my serotonin with some 5-HTP.
So 5-HTP.
Yeah, which is a serotonin enhancer.
You take it as a single ingredient.
Single ingredient at night, and basically it makes me feel better. It keeps me in balance, because high dopamine levels can start wiping out your serotonin, which could cause sleep issues and also not feeling good. So I kind of try to keep that balance going.
Do you know about SSRIs and how their relationship is with that? Is there any interactions with SSRIs and nootropics or the stuff we take or anything?
SSRIs, selective
serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
There you go.
Antidepressants. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe that someone should be taking them together. The thing is, though, the studies have shown that most of these ingredients that raise dopamine in pre-workouts have antidepressive traits to them.
Well, you can feel that.
Yeah, exactly. How they combine, like if somebody is on an SSRI, how they would combine, taking a pre-workout and then having to take that I don't know, as far as the interaction with,
Right. Yeah. I didn't know if it was anything just to be aware of, because a lot of people are on them. I mean, there's a lot of people who are on SSRIs, and a lot of them, I think, look for dopamine. They look for happiness in their pre-workouts and stuff. They're looking for,
DMHA, and
they're seeking that stuff. And I didn't know if there was any, interaction. So as we wind down here,
Yeah.
I got a couple more. Why expensive supplements that are supposed to increase testosterone and power and reduce fat don't get much love or even reviews on the net? Apollon Nutrition's Last Emperor and Hard Target Test Support get 0 reviews, yet one of these subs costs $99 and the other is slightly less. So I think he's essentially asking. I don't know what the Last Emperor is. Is that a muscle builder or something? Why
Robert
don't
never sent it to me.
oh, test boosters in general?
Yeah.
They
I mean,
don't get a lot of love, and I could tell you after you go what
yeah.
I think.
Well, I believe, like I've said in some of my reviews, I believe there's a time and a place for them. Like I'm taking Vintage Muscles TRT. So
Oh,
they have
they asked me
yeah,
about.
yeah, they sent it my way. So, and it's got Fedogia, it's got Tomcat, and if anybody buys it, you can use Ari's code or my code
Use David's code.
M2M.
Use David
But
because he's testing it.
yeah, I'm testing it out. So I'm only like 10 days in. And but
It's
then
suppressive, right?
well, with the balance of the ingredients, it shouldn't be. So it's got some epiandro in it, which raises DHT. So that's an actual, DHT levels is just another way to hit the hormones. But if someone's prone to hair loss and you want to stay away from it, any epiandro, and they're out there all over the place. But it's got the Podogia and the Tomcat at decent dosages. So all in all, it's supposed to give you the DHT hit and then a balance of free testosterone from Tomcat, and then the Fedogia that the normal testosterone hit basically. But here's the thing about these ingredients, what I found, because I have some cystacean in there I'm testing out as well. Um, Everybody is going to react different to these things. So the hard thing about test boosters, in my opinion, is like you're on TRT, so and that's because your body's whatever's happened, the hypothalamus isn't sending signals down to LH and FSH to your testes. Who knows what exactly is happening? And that goes with anybody else who's not producing free testosterone. Maybe their testosterone levels are high, but their free testosterone is low. What's going on in your body? So taking these ingredients, it's pretty much like a shot in the dark that it's going to do something major for you, and and I want to say this, no natural testosterone booster. The one I'm taking has the possibility to boost testosterone possibly higher, depending on the dosage you take, because it's got an andro in it. But no testosterone booster out there that I've reviewed that you're going to buy from GNC online, that's reputable, that can be sold in a store, is going to raise your testosterone levels to a 900 or a 1200 mark. And they've done study after study that within that, well, they say healthy range, a low range of 300 to the high range of 900, which some people have. Within that range, if they've done studies on people on the low range and the high range, and between the low range and the high range, the testosterone didn't depend on how much muscle they built. It might have depended on how much energy and output they put out, like in training and stuff like that. But it did not make them more their androgen receptors, more receptive to the idea of growing muscle. You literally have to get above that 900 to 1,000 mark to actually start to notice muscle growth off of TRT or even off of a natural testosterone booster. It's all the studies have done.
Yeah, because when I was on, I think I made all of when my doctors put me on TRT at they 200 milligrams, 300 milligrams of testosterone cypionate, and my test levels were very high. I remember getting them tested once, and they were like 1650 or something because the doctor had me on such a high dose and so infrequently. Right. I think I made most of my muscle gains when I was on that crazy dose, because now my test levels pretty much stay between 580 and I'm guessing 900 or something when it peaks.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think the current dose I'm on is anabolic enough where I don't notice that I'm building more muscle anymore.
Right. But guaranteed you have probably more energy if you were low. So
Oh,
that's
I feel great and I
yeah,
get the benefits. Oh, no, for sure. I just don't think
yeah.
that I'm on this steady state of more and more muscle and more
You're,
muscle. I think that,
you're probably not. And then basically what I was getting at that is natural testosterone boosters, even the ones that I've taken to review, I noticed more energy, more output because it brought me up a little bit more,
well, I
120.
was going to say, so even it was explained to me that the test boosters, even if they're not boosting tests, which they very well, the ingredients still have benefits. Yeah.
Yes, yes. There are cortisol regulation like Tomcat does. So there are some. The only one that's sketchy still is Podogia, although on
Hmm.
an anecdotal level, because there's not any studies other than done on rats. Anecdotally, talking to tons of different people, listening to Reddit threads or reading Reddit threads and listening to people online, it works. But then you have that aspect of it's only been done on rats, and then high dosages on rats. It gave testicular toxicity in the rats. So I'm always telling people don't go crazy and take 1,200 milligrams every single day, 600, let it build up. That's just like with SARMs, like anybody who's talking about SARMs, like RAD 140 and stuff like that. People expect to jump on that and like that type of a mechanism there and expect to have gains right off the bat. It takes just like natural testosterone boosters or even TRT takes weeks, a month to actually really kick
It took
in.
months and it
They,
took,
yeah,
yeah,
they all take months to actually work. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So what's the final debate on this? There's a debate in the industry that you may or may not know about. Is S7 the snickle fritz, or is there any legitimacy to this ingredient?
The SARM.
No,
Like
S7.
oh, S7. Because there's a SARM that's like that too. S7 is my opinion. I think it's a bunch of. Okay, let me put it this way.
I think you put it in the way that you needed to put it, right?
I,
I mean
I,
that's
I,
what I've
it,
heard.
it's a healthy ingredient. So if anything, if it's in a pre-workout, like Innovafarm has it, and a few other manufacturers do, it's healthy. It's got a ton of antioxidants in it, and I guarantee there's some kind of benefit from the antioxidants and polyphenols. But if you take S7 and compare it to, 50 milligrams of S7 and compare it to 200 milligrams of grapeseed extract or pine bark extract, it doesn't compare to them.
As far
So
as for a pump or
for a
whatever.
pump, for vasodilation in a pump, yeah,
Right.
yeah. So and who knows on
We
the
love the pumps. We love
yeah,
the pumps.
blood flow. I mean, there's also other aspects on those too, and there's not a lot of information on S7. I keep digging every once in a while when I see it in a pre. Like I got to find out something else than just its polyphenols because it's just like, and
Oh yeah.
the only studies that have been done has been done by the company showing a 250% increase. But then again, it's not ready. Like it's not a readily available increase. It happens 9 days after taking 50 or 100 milligrams straight every day, and we're not going to do that in a
That
pre-workout.
makes me feel better. Now in my reviews, I will be trashing S7. People throw it in there, and I've already said pretty much in my reviews that I think it's the Snickle Fritz.
You're right. You're right.
As far as the pumps go, are there some brands, a few that you can name that you just consider above the rest, supplement brands that are just doing formulations, or that you just love, that you just think they are just tops as far as what they're doing all around?
From where I'm at, as far as ingredient wise, I like Panda. Um, Ghost is always coming out with good products as well. Thinking of a big company there. Um,
Very good branding. Do you like their
yeah,
products?
I like the way they brand things, and most of their products. Like when I tried their pre-workout, I was actually surprised. I was like, "Whoa, this thing actually was nice." It was only like
Well, which one?
it was about a year ago. I
They
did it.
reformulated without the Alpha Yo, and it broke my heart.
Okay. So, and
They
I
had
remember
that
that.
1.5, and now they
Right.
went really mainstream, and I don't like the formula
Well, you know why I bet is because they're going overseas, and I've had
overseas.
the
Yeah.
familiarization of dealing with overseas. Man, it's crazy
Yeah.
trying to get a product over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not now, but branding wise, Panda and Ghost are on the top. Panda, I think their ingredients are fantastic. Their profiles are simple, and they hit, um, but they're targeting more of the flavored things, so which is not bad.
They
They're
have
just
such a
all
huge
around,
line, such
all
a huge
around getter
line.
company. I'm always just looking for something different, and the only way I'm finding something different is from these small companies. But I still haven't found something that I'm like, because we reviewed a couple supplements and we had the same opinion where we did a review. I don't know about you. Sometimes I'll get a supplement and it's trash from someone and I don't even review it. I don't
Yeah,
contact them because I don't want to say anything bad. Um, but there's been a few companies that we've done some reviews on
yeah.
that were just like
No, they're
this
not
thing
all
just
going to
hit.
hit.
Right, right. But it's still, even with those companies, when you look at the profiles, like I look at the profile and be like, damn, yeah, something new. So I feel like everybody is trying to just come out with the more heavily dosed pre-workout with no new ingredients. It's all the
Mm.
same old ingredients. Alpha Yo, high doses of L-citrulline, or yohimbine. I used to like when I think Jake put together a couple pre-workouts that had a little bit of yohimbine and Alpha Yo, and I love that combination. And you don't
The
see that.
yo-yo mix, we call
Yeah,
that.
there you go. Yeah, I love that mix. But you're not seeing it anymore. I mean, no one's using it. And then a lot of companies are steering away from it. So because they want to get into GNCs or they want to go, grow bigger. So they don't
Yeah.
want it in the pre-workout. Yeah.
People cry.
I cry
People
like
always complain. They love some very, I think more people complain when there's alpha yo, I think, and
beta alanine. You know what? The world that we speak to right now
yeah.
is only like 30% of the population out there. And there's like 70% of the population that doesn't give a crap about what the ingredient label says. They just want to make sure it tastes good. Austin, the guy that I train with, every time he takes a pre, he'll, I hope he's watching, I'll videotape him or I'll just be watching him and he'll take it. It doesn't taste like, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like unicorn butt, it
Yeah,
tastes
right.
more like this, and I'm like, dude, just drink the damn pre-workout,
That's like me and Shelby.
But he's just in a different, he's in a different generation.
Well, that's why the ones like Rise and Ghost, they do very well
Right,
and they crush it.
yeah,
And they first of all, there's not a lot of stuff they're masking in there.
right, yeah, no, exactly, because you got ingredients like even agmatine. When you see agmatine in the pre-workout, you get higher than 1 gram, it
Yeah.
destroys the flavor.
Araya, there's a lot of it. The thin
Extra,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Those ingredients are hard to mask. So
Even dandelion extract, we were talking about, which we both like. If you put that in a pre-workout, yeah, it's going to destroy the flavor. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, this was really good, man. And I love seeing your channel. You got about 9,000 subs now you're going on.
I'm getting there, but as you start growing, you're like, yeah, I'm not happy. I want the 2 digits now. I want the 10. I want the 10K.
Oh, that's right.
But what makes me happy is not the amount of subscribers. It's the interactions that are happening, and that I feel like I am actually giving people information along with the review. So people have been telling me you can do more if you just break up do a shorter review and then do the ingredients separate. But I kind of want people to come and get the whole, the whole shebang.
Well, your videos I do see are getting good views. And you do get a lot of interaction. The one thing about like your channel and mine that I think we're both proud of is it's all been organic growth. There's not bought and paid for, and it's just we do what we do, and they're gonna like it or they're not. It's like
exactly.
And I think I don't know about you, but I genuinely love interacting with people. And I see that. I see you respond to all the comments, and you answer a lot of questions and stuff.
Right. Oh yeah. Especially on videos that I don't think you're aware of. You have to do. I'm telling you right now. You want your views to go up. You have to do a review on that Apex Labs muscle defense.
What is that?
It's I don't know how people are finding it. It was sent to me to review, and that sucker's got like 75K views on it.
Wow.
And I am constantly getting comments on this thing. Like
It's
people ask
bigger
me
than my
questions.
biggest video.
It's insane. It's insane. But you have to do a review on it. You do. You
Okay.
just, yeah.
What kind of supplement is it?
It's a protein, but it's a protein.
Oh.
It's basically what it is. It has HMB in it, so it's supposed to be like an anabolic activator type thing, but it's a protein drink. It's not something I would recommend to someone because it's expensive, but there's a lot of people out there that were interested in it, I guess, and it's still.
Wow.
So I don't know if their marketing is just insane. I haven't really been following them, but
Right.
I keep.
Is that your biggest video?
That's my biggest. Then it goes like Animal Pack. There's so many people like Animal Pack. Universal Products. That's one of those things. But
never reviewed them. Yeah, my Gorilla Mode is my biggest video.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't even looked at mine. I think it's like 2 or 3K, but it was an old one.
It's like 60 or something. And then the one where I told people never to buy from Redcon One again, that has about 60.
Does it?
Yeah.
I bet Redcon loves you, man.
Aaron, they called me and they sent me $1,000 care package and tried to entice me to take it down and told me Aaron Singerman saw it and they were not happy about it. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I stand by my videos. It's not coming down.
Yeah. Well, we're the same, man. I get it.
Yeah. So, dude, I really appreciate all the intel and I love that we're on the path together, man, and that I can come to you, hit you up on the cell phone, and just you always answer my personal questions and stuff, and you've helped me a lot, and I really appreciate it. I hope all the viewers watching go subscribe to David's channel, and please, his breakdowns of the labels are second to none. The way his editing now is top notch. He's got Spielberg came in there and started producing these flicks. And Shelby, do you have anything else for David?
No, I appreciate it. I learned from it. You've answered some good questions that I'm going to be able to now, utilize the information and thank you. Thank you.
No, I appreciate both you guys. You guys are awesome.
To do this again, man.
Yeah, I anytime, and I'm so glad you guys are doing this together because I was waiting because Shelby would show up every once in a while in your videos in the beginning, and I'm like, cool, they got this going on. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And I want everybody to know that Ari is true blue. He is the most honest, trustworthy, heartfelt human being out there, because when I was going through stuff, out of all the reviewers out there, my homie here actually would reach out to me and say, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. Is everything okay? Dude, you don't know how much I appreciate that. You reached out before even one of my friends would reach out. I consider you a friend, but one of my long-term friends,
Yeah.
So you don't know that hit my heart,
you, man. And I watch for you, and I look forward to your drops, and I keep my eyes on you, man.
Yeah, same here, man. I always got your back. No, I do.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
man.
You guys are awesome. Yeah.
We're gonna get you out here, do some working out and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well,
give it a month or so. I'm coming up. I'm starting to get more money from YouTube and stuff. So I'm gonna fly out there. Yeah.
We'll get you.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, man.
Well, hey, man. Thank you, everybody. God bless all of you. And hit the like button. Please leave your comments. Let us know what you think. And we're going to have to do this. There's too much more to cover with David here. So we're going to have to do this again. So God bless all of you guys.